Clear and cool start to our morning. Sunny and warmer
Yep.
today with a high in the upper 60s in Kerrville and
That's right.
Madera. Clear and not as cool tonight.
Argue
Near
with me
40.
here.
Partly cloudy on
Argue with
Tuesday with a
this.
high 68.
I
Temperatures
don't think
will
he
be in the
knows what his son
mid-70s
is.
on
I
Wednesday.
really don't think
I'm
he knows.
meteorologist Dan
Right. Oh, I know.
Conway.
I agree.
The Hill Country Patriot. He's a native Texan, president of the Fredericksburg Tea Party, a student of Ben Franklin and John Locke, and he's a Christian conservative political activist. He's a true believer in the principles that this country was founded upon, and comes to you every day to guide, advise, and lead you to become involved in the greatest political experiment in the history of our planet, self-governance. We don't get fooled again. He's Matt Long, and this is the Matt Long Show.
Good morning, folks. So happy to be here with you on the Hill Country Patriot. Hope you're all thawed out. Hope you've listened. We've all traded all our stories now. I think it's probably socially appropriate that you, when you see someone at the grocery store now, don't tell them your story, right? I think haven't we all heard the stories, Angela?
I think we have. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I've got special guest on here this morning with me, Angela Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning, Angela. As usual, it's a Monday morning, and Angela and I have been trying to doing our best to do the program together every Monday. We're going to focus today on some local issues. By the way, we are on YouTube, and this is the one day a week where we go on YouTube, and it is Fredericksburg Tea Party TX, Fredericksburg Tea Party TX. And when you go to search your YouTube channels, it's amazing that you have to actually go all the way through to the end. It never suggests Fredericksburg Tea Party until you get it all the way down and you put the TX in, and then we show up. I mean, we're just getting buried, but that's okay. We're not gone yet. You just have to really dig for us. I imagine the day will come before too long where they will get rid of us. Angela, what's happening on Facebook? I know you're sneaking around on there even though you've been banned.
Yes, I am sneaking around, but so far, so good.
Yeah.
And the videos that I've been putting on there, which is primarily why I'm using that page, are getting 400 or 500 views.
Wow.
So we're making an impact with it. We're going to use it until we can't use it any longer.
Okay, there you go. So we're going to keep using Facebook and YouTube until they eventually kick us off. You know, the Fredericksburg Tea Party and all of our administrators were kicked off of Facebook several months ago with no warning, and so Angela snuck back on in a fake name. You lied to Facebook. Angela lied to Facebook.
I just used a different email. That's not lying. So,
okay, all right. Okay.
But we are on MeWe. You know, Fredericksburg Tea Party went to MeWe, and I love MeWe. I love using it. It's a lot of fun. I just can't get the live video thing going on there yet. But
yeah.
I know how to do. You may know how to tell me to do it. But
yeah, I haven't figured it out either. I did once hit the me button, and all of a sudden it started running a video in my. I'm sitting on the couch trying to figure out how to turn it off. So there is a function there. It's just figuring out how to use it. It's like I see it sometimes. I think it's in the chat window, but and not in other windows. I don't know what the function of it is yet. I can't.
If anybody out there does know, let us know.
Yeah, how to put a live video up on
MeWe.
Let us know. Send us a note on MeWe. We'd appreciate it. So we do have a pretty cool show today. First of all, the delayed city council meeting, Fredericksburg City Council meeting from last Monday has been delayed until tonight, and so. Yes, we're still fighting City Hall, the Fredericksburg Tea Party, and we're actually making some. Are we making some headway, Angela?
I believe we are.
We're making some headway, and we're going to do probably most of the second half of the show is going to be talking about what you can do, how you can participate, and how you can be involved in making a difference in the city of Fredericksburg. Now, if you don't live in Fredericksburg, everything we're doing here can be done anywhere else.
In Kerrville.
It can be done in
Wherever you need to
Kerrville.
do it,
It can
yes.
be done in Mason. It can be done in anywhere. Bernie, it just doesn't matter. And so if don't tune us out just because it's Fredericksburg, but we will have some, give you some good pointers and what we're doing in Fredericksburg, taking on the city council. And they, at first we were just kind of noisy, and I think they were just kind of shooing us off a little bit. But I think they're taking us a little more seriously now.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, Matt.
And that we've our numbers are starting to increase, and they're taking notice of it, so that's good. So also, oh, and goodness gracious, we have Chip Roy who's going to be joining us here on YouTube. Actually, we're going to bring his audio and video up on YouTube. A couple of weeks ago, we tried to have a guest on, or we had a guest on the Monday show, and those that were watching on YouTube were not getting the audio of our guest as the guest was coming in on the local telephone, and so, but it wasn't being heard on YouTube, and so we think we have a workaround on this. And you see how white my beard is, and that denotes age, and it also denotes my ability to run all these newfangled computer thingies. So anyway, we're going to try our best. Chip Roy is going to come on after around 9:15. I think he's going to join us. Angela, we've got a few minutes before then. Let's talk about Tuesdays at the Capitol.
Oh, yeah. We'll be going tomorrow. We always meet around 10 o'clock in the Rotunda. Carpooling is available from Fredericksburg. So if you guys will reach out to fredericksburgteaparty@gmail.com, we will be happy to accommodate you. We usually leave from the stagecoach stop around 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but we need to know you're going to go. Don't just try to show up because we may have driven off without you. We also do a caravan. So if you want to just take your own car, just because you'd like to have some quiet time by yourself and you just want to follow us, that's fine too. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the car with us, and all we do is talk all the way up there. Catch up on everything, personal and political. So we just kind of get ourselves primed for the day ahead. But tomorrow, I'm going to be trying to make an appointment with one of the representatives who is over election integrity committee.
Okay.
And so we're going to be going up there for that. And I would also like to hear from Senator Dawn Buckingham's office to see, to ask her point blank, will she support Kyle Biederman's HB 1359 by sponsoring a companion bill in the Senate? So get that thing. We need to make sure that thing gets going.
Yeah, and Kyle Biederman's House Bill 1359 has to do with the proposition of should we start studying how Texas would go about forming its own republic again. This Bill 1359 does not mean if it passes in November 3rd that on November 4th will be a new country. No. This is not how it works, folks. This is at least a 5-year stage of going through before we can actually really take that step. And so don't be afraid of that bill for any reason. Find out what it's all about. Take some time. I think my argument right now is let's not wait 2 more years.
Let's don't wait.
Let's not wait 2 more years. I think we get a pretty good idea of what Washington is going to look like right now and where the country is headed over the next 2 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. And let's go ahead and get this process started now rather than waiting 2 years. And why do I say wait 2 years? Because our legislature in Texas only meets once every 2 years. So we need to take a short break. Hopefully when we get back, we will have Congressman Chip Roy on YouTube with us. Folks, y'all stay tuned. Let me see, I'll throw in a random, and I mean random, Random, Ben Franklin. Fear not death, for the sooner we die, the longer we be immortal. There you go. That's a good one, Ben. Just randomly opening it up this morning. All right, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, friends out of YouTube world.
Say again.
I was talking to YouTube world. We have 4 listeners, watchers. All right, now we gotta figure out how to get this. If we could get the light right there and get it to stay. Nope.
Oh. So when it moves,
When I have me, that's where it's balancing the light. So
Right.
what it's doing is balancing the light
okay.
right there. That's why we're so dark. So, friends, we're working on our lighting in the studio, but it's a radio studio, not a TV studio. So
Next week
we'll have something. Angela had a really good idea, and I think we'll give it a try next Monday. The first day of March, next Monday.
It
Can you
is.
believe
I
it?
can't believe
Holy
it.
mackerel. Wow.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
The dead week of February we just had.
Oh.
Yeah, Mom, thank you. Thank you. You're right. We'll get that lighting blocked next week. Mama told me not to come. All right, folks, we are back. You're listening to the Matt Long Show. You may be watching the Matt Long Show. And yes, we do have lighting issues. See, there you go. That works. There we go. Maybe I'll just put it on Angela. See, it doesn't even want to. It doesn't even want to tune in on Angela.
I have to get way over here.
There you go. So anyway, we'll work on that. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe. So let's go back to talking about the Capitol tomorrow. So you said we meet at the Rotunda about 10.
Yes.
Some of us gather up there. Now I'm in the parking lot doing my radio programming. From 9 to 10. I'm on the top floor of the parking lot. And we also bring in Pastor Greg every Tuesday. And so we're on the top floor of the Austin of the Visitors Center's parking lot at the Capitol, and that's where I do my radio program. And with Pastor Greg, we go nationwide for 20 minutes of the programming every Tuesday, and that's kind of fun. And then I unload and get out of the truck a little around about 4 or 5 after 10. I'm out of the truck and I'm over in the Rotunda by 10:15. But Fredericksburg Tea Party people will be there. And so it is not a real big deal at all. You just, if you show up, if you don't carpool or follow us over there, if you can get to the Rotunda between 10, 10:15, 10:30, that is when we kind of meet up. And if you can go over early and have an appointment or meet with someone before then, I mean, that's great. And so you can have your 8:30 appointment. Now, tomorrow's schedule for the legislature, they are not going to log back in or gavel back in until the afternoon. So there will not be a morning session tomorrow, but they will gavel in around 1 o'clock. So by the time we get there until 1, you know that those people are not needed on the floor. And so you may have the opportunity in the morning to run into your senator or meet with your representative. Representatives are usually easier to get, aren't they, Angela?
Yes, they are. There's more of them, number one. And their offices are a bit smaller because there's more of them.
Right.
So they just are a little more accessible, to be honest with you. But listen, I think we need to hold our senators to that same standard. Remember back when we had Senator Frazier and we literally, I don't know, did we ever?
We met with him once.
Once. And then we were always just talking to
whoever
would talk to us. And it got to the point we were there so much that we started learning who to ask for.
That's right.
If you don't know who to ask for, they will give you the chief bottle washer.
That's right.
And let you just talk all you want.
Yeah. They do. That's exactly right. And we've talked about this a lot. If you go in once a year or once a session, they have all their little spiels they give you that all sound very reasonable and they make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you just go in there and they tell you all these things, and they know that you're in there just for that once a session. When you start showing up regularly, those little speeches don't fly anymore.
No, they don't.
And go ahead.
I'm just going to say, it's interesting that they know what to say to you to keep you happy,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't do it.
Right.
So there's a
Big divide.
Yeah, there's a divide, and they premeditated.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get. Premeditated. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
So.
And yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, it is. And like I said, if you're the real estate guy that goes up once a year, or you're the white coat folks and you go up once a year, they have their spiels. When you start showing up regularly, then you will know what their spiels are, and you know how to get around it, and you know how to start asking more specific questions. One of the keys when we go into these offices, and again, this is all, by the way, this is all repeats, folks. This is all, and that's all right. We're going to keep saying it over and over because it's important, and there may be some new people out there. But developing relationships with the people that work in the offices, so very, very important.
Yes, it is.
When you open the door, there's the greeter, for lack of a better word.
Right.
They're the
Yes.
folks that have a future at Walmart, right? Because they're the greeters right there. They meet you at the door. They have fancy titles like receptionist or
Yes.
something like that, right? But they're the person that meets you at the door. They're usually the youngest person in the office. They are usually an intern.
Interns, yes.
Interns, and they know how to be man. They know how to put the smile on. They know how to welcome you. They just make you feel like you're going to a family reunion most of the time.
Most of the time. Yes.
Most of the time. Now, every now and then you'll get a nasty one, but most of the time they're real good. Now, it's very important that you have a relationship with that person, that you know that person, know their name. In Kyle Biederman's office, it is Madeline.
Yes.
So when you walk in the door, there's Madeline, and you greet Madeline and you be nice to her. But that's the front line, right? And so your key to really make a difference is to get beyond that. So who's next in those offices that we try to get to know, Angela?
We definitely try to talk to the the legislative director, because we're there to talk policy, right? And that's their job.
Right.
So we try to talk with the director. Sometimes in an office, maybe in a senator's office, they may have several legislative directors.
That's right.
Because they just got to split up the workload.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely try to talk to that person. We always want to meet and know the chief of staff in an office.
Mm-hmm.
They may not necessarily want to talk policy with us.
Right.
They do manage the office. They manage a lot of different things in the office. So even in Don Buckingham's office, we talked policy with the chief of staff, who was really engaged with election integrity. I believe it was that day we went in. So. So.
I am getting a message. Angela, you're going to have to go solo for a second. I got to figure out how to get Chip in here. Chip is waiting in the backstage, but I'm not sure he's in the right one.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to see if I can figure that out here. I'm not sure where he is.
Well, we definitely want to hear from Congressman Chip Roy this morning. I'm excited that you have him on. We had a town hall planned for last week, which we had not even promoted really, because we were in the stages of it, and then the ice and the snow and all the weather hit, and we had to cancel all of that. So I know that he's anxious to talk to us, but this year has been one of those years where every time we tried to make that happen, something came up. It was just real interesting. So the first 60 days of the year, and we've got as much going on this year as we did last year. So we want to talk with our congressman. It's definitely time to do that. The dust has settled in Washington on as far as President Trump's exit, the impeachment, the so-called impeachment trial that was an unconstitutional activity that cost the taxpayers tons of money. And when I say taxpayers, unless they're growing the money on a money tree out back of the White House, you and I paid for that. As is the same thing that's happening at your city and county levels. Listen, we don't see that money. Sometimes we don't see how that money is going out and the checks are being written, but government is in power and empowered by our tax checks. So if they are doing anything and it's costing money, it's costing you and me money. And when they come around the next tax cycle and say they don't have enough money and your services are going to be cut, because that's the very first thing they do, they want to say to you their services are going to be cut. Let me tell you, try to if you've been keeping up at all throughout the year, you'll be able to see where the money went, and you can call them on it. So in Fredericksburg, that is what the city manager is trying to do right now. It's just a bona fide scare tactic, is to talk about their legislative priorities, and if they don't get any more money, the city services will be cut. And that's the first thing they talk about. Oh, and if you go to the county will tell you you won't have your roads repaired. So it's just
it's nuts.
It's nuts. They absolutely know what to say. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what they were talking about back when. I wasn't certain of what they were saying, but if you listen to them year after year, it's the same spiel. And so, folks, start listening into your city council meetings, start listening into your county commissioners meetings. You know, I hope in Kerrville you've got some solid conservative statesmen on these councils, because that's what it's going to take. And 2021 is the year to start making sure that's what you have. Otherwise, you're going to have 2020 baked into the cake, and you are not going to be able to get rid of it unless you start all over.
Yeah, boy, that is so true. Folks, I think we're close to getting Chip Roy on here, and so we're going to take a short break, and I'm going to give Chip a call and see what we can't figure out. Y'all stay tuned.
superintendent. They've hired CCR educational consultants to help with the search for around $6,000. And you're up to date with news at Ranch Radio Group. I'm Jen Austin.
Harley here. How about taking a golf cart out to the deer lease? They're durable. They have a lower cost to maintain than any ATV. Plus, they're electric, so they're really quiet. For over 40 years, Mission Golf Cars and Club Car have been the leader in South Texas. And now, with their newest location in Bernie, you can pick up a Club Car Onward Club model. Plus, Mission Golf Cars can customize your club car to your exact specs. You can find Mission Golf Cars on Facebook.
Okay, let's try this
and on their
again.
website, missiongolfcars.com. Their standing seam, shingle, tile, residential, commercial, doesn't matter to Stevens Roofing. Licensed, bonded, insured, discounts for military, first responders, and teachers. When you need a roof,
Not till he shows up right there.
330-310-7068.
30 seconds.
Hear the Matt Long Show, weekdays 9 to 10. Our weather pattern continues to improve across the hill country with a clear and cool start to our morning. Sunny and warmer
Just
today
wanna
with a high
call
in the
in?
upper 60s in Kerrville and Bandera. Clear and not as cool tonight. Tarlow near 40. Partly cloudy on Tuesday with a high 68. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s.
Thanks for your patience, guys, out in YouTube land.
The Hill Country Patriot.
All right, folks, we are back. You are still tuned in to the Matt Long Show. I'm still sitting here with Angela Smith, and I just got Chip Roy up, and so there we go. I'm going to add Chip to the stream. Chip Roy, we got you live finally. I am so sorry about the insanity this morning. How you doing? You're not driving and video chatting, are you?
Well, I am now. Since I couldn't get in, I was having to make a decision about where I was driving. So, but I'm just going to pull over so we can do the interview because that's what I'm going to do. But I didn't know what we were going to be able to do because we had those minor technical difficulties. But now we're up and running and we're good to go.
All right, Chip, listen, our audio is horrible, and so, my friend, we're just going to need to reschedule this. I know you went out of your way this morning, but our audio is just horrible. I'm really sorry we can't do this. Thank you for coming on.
Can you hear me now better?
No, it's a lot worse, and I think it's probably on our end. And you got the kids in there. We'll let you take care of business, Congressman Roy, and thank you so much. We'll try this again. My apologies.
Hey, Matt, it's all good if you can't hear me, but I'm happy to call in if you want. We'll do it whenever. God bless you.
All right. Thank you. All right, folks, there we go. See, now that's interesting. I just got a text that it sounded just fine over the internet. So on this end, I could barely hear him. So anyway, like I said, we're trying new things here. Our apologies on that. And it looked like Chip had his kids in the car and was busy doing things. And so we will get back with Congressman Roy when we get that figured out. And I guess it's good to know. Thanks for letting me know that it sounded good on YouTube. So there you go. All right, so let's talk about the city. Let's talk about the city because, Angela, that is what is in our bailiwick right now. Give us a little bit of a history on what's going on in the city.
Well, it's really interesting when you look back because...
Hold on. City of Fredericksburg. I shouldn't assume.
Yes, that's true.
We are neck deep in alligators in the city of Fredericksburg,
yes.
And no, the alligators did not freeze to death. So, all right, go ahead. So we're in Fredericksburg.
Well, it's so interesting when you look back because we've had to go through 2020 with the city of Fredericksburg putting us under an emergency declaration, and which, if you don't know, the governor put the state under an emergency declaration, which made the responsibility to comply with the COVID guidelines personal. It made that personal to you or to me. It was all just about a personal responsibility. But when the city of Fredericksburg and any other municipality does this on their own municipality, they made it They made the businesses
They made the businesses and the employees of those businesses
responsible to
police.
enforce and police their own customers coming in the door.
Right.
So they made them put up signs on the door. They had to have, I think they had to have some sort of written statement about how they were going to enforce compliance, that sort of thing. And that is outrageous in my mind.
Yeah, and I'm just going to spell that out again, because the first time I heard this, it didn't quite make a lot of, it just didn't land in my brain right. But when let's separate this. So we have the state of emergency that came down from the governor. All right, and now let's ignore all the other ones. So you're not your city, not your county, but the governor issued a state of an emergency. And if you look at that, the onus, the job of who enforces that it's personal. It's on you and I.
Yes, personal
responsibility. When the governor put that order out, it was, wear a mask. In fact, it wasn't an order. It was suggest wear a mask. I think it may have turned sometime into an order, but it was wear a mask, social distance. And so who is that responsibility laid upon? That is laid upon the individual. The individual. So now let's take it down. In the city, in your city, just like Fredericksburg, may have come up with their own orders, and they were orders on restaurants. There were orders on businesses. You had to have this plan. You had to have these signs up. And so the responsibility of enforcing that, instead of it being a personal responsibility, it is now up to the business owners. And not even the business owners, many of them who only go into business to sign checks on payday. Some of them are more involved, but their managers run the business, and the managers hire the frontline people. And so the people that are on the front line, the ones that work the register, the ones that greet you when you walk in the door, who are usually younger.
Yes.
I mean, that's just generally, that's the way it works. Those are entry-level jobs. And so now the city ordinance and the city orders, who has to enforce them? It's that 21-year-old gal, that 19-year-old guy who, and they've got to get into the face. So, I mean, that's what they have to do. They have to, someone walks in without a mask, this young kid has to go up to a grown adult, maybe twice as large as them, and say, and older, and if you have respect for your elders, and if you have if you've grown up with some respect for your seniors, you don't go ordering them around. But who has to do that? And it's the employees.
The employees that, like you say, are at these entry-level jobs, and they're 20-somethings, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I grew up in a family business, retail business, clothing retail, large store. At 20, 21, I would never have thought to go up to someone that was someone I would consider my elder, and tell them what to do.
Right.
But we are teaching 20-somethings not to respect their elders, to be honest with you. That's what the city of Fredericksburg is okay with. Listen, a lot of us don't think about the dynamics of what is going on with this. We see the sign on the door, we walk in with a mask or not a mask or whatever, but we're not considering the dynamics of what is actually going on when that customer walks in. The person standing there or in there should be greeting them, should be offering customer service to them, should be happy to see them.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they shouldn't be thinking is, okay, now I've got to go up and police them and tell them to put their mask on.
Right.
That is all kinds of wrong on all kinds of levels, and I am disgusted by it. And the city council of Fredericksburg, Texas, who should, because of the kind of business that they're in, which is customer service on many, many levels, should think that's okay.
Yeah, and you talk about us not taking a look at the process or the goings on. That's just blatantly what the city council, they're not thinking these things through.
No.
It is just a matter of, why is that? Money. Oh, yeah. They told us that, didn't they?
Yes.
In fact, we have recordings of that. We snipped it out because, trying to watch a a 3-hour city council meeting, if we tell you, look, they said something nasty at the 94-minute mark, that doesn't do any good. And so we have snipped those areas out.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, they were clear as a bell. In fact, there wasn't even any pushback. But when asked about what would happen if they would rescind the emergency order, they were told, the city council was told by the emergency management guy over there, and he's new, by the way, and nothing against that, but there's a new guy there, and he said, well, you'll basically lose your federal and state money for the emergency.
Yes.
And they went, oh, well, we don't want to lose the money.
That's
exactly
right.
That's exactly what they said. In fact, Jerry Lukenbach said, well, if we were to rescind the emergency order and then put it back on a month later, would we get money? And the new guy said, the emergency management guy says, well, yeah, you would start getting money again, but you wouldn't get paid for that that period where you weren't under the emergency order. Now, if there's an emergency and we need the money, I get it.
That is different.
Maybe.
But I don't see.
What do we need the money for?
What do we need the money for? And no one is speaking about that.
No one is.
No.
In fact, nobody on the city council said, well, what do we need the money for?
No.
Nobody said that. We're all sitting in a room together, as we will be tonight, and we're going to talk more about that here in a second. But we were all sitting there yelling at the screen, what do you need the money for?
Well,
I mean, there may be I don't think there's valid.
We were yelling at the screen. There's a lot of chatter out there. Folks, it's awesome when they have it on Zoom like this, when they offer this Zoom, because people are chatting and saying, what are we becoming, a welfare city?
Right.
We don't need the welfare. It's ridiculous. It infuriates me when I think about what they are doing, what they are turning the people of Fredericksburg into against their own friends and neighbors who own these businesses. Listen, it's ridiculous. So fast forward just a little bit right into 2021, and Kent Myers, city manager, implements the Tattletale tool all by himself without asking city council, and puts it in the newspaper. Thank you, Fredericksburg Standard, for helping old Kent out, get his message out that you now could go to their website and tattle on all your friends and neighbors who are trying to run a business in the midst of coronavirus mandates and lockdowns, and 50%, and then it's 75% this weekend, and it's 50% next week, and oh, by the way, you got to wear a mask too, and if you don't, the city. So what the city was doing after they got the tattletale was they were educating. They were going to educate our business owners. Let me tell you, that just sounds like Germany to me, during the 40s, and we came out in the 30s.
Yeah,
30s, and we came out strong against that, and that's when about 200 people showed up at a city council meeting, and then that's when the city council shut down in-person city council meetings.
Yeah, they were not going to have the crowds. They didn't want to hear from us.
Yeah, the timeline is
it's blatant.
It's blatant, and it's obvious, and they have no remorse, and they have not given any apologies, and they've doubled down on their Facebook page whenever these things are brought up. So they'll double down on their Facebook page again.
And of course now they're talking about their legislative priorities, and they pretty much want to get more money out of you without your say.
Yes.
In other words, want to go behind your back to raise your taxes without having to ask you. And there's several variations of that in their legislative priorities. But I find it very interesting that they always immediately go to, look, if we can't get this money, if we can't do this, we're going to have to cut your police, your services, the police, and what,
EMS.
the ambulance, and your police,
maybe
EMS,
even your trash pickup. Who knows?
Yeah, and so it is so funny because they always use that line when all of us know that, how much are they paying the golf course? How much are they putting into, they've hired somebody who goes around and looks at the historical buildings.
Yes.
And to make sure that you don't make any changes to historical buildings. They have someone who is paid to chase down the B&Bs that are not paying their property taxes, or they
Or
don't think they're paying
hotel,
their their hot money. And so there's a lot of things they can cut, but did you notice that you always think of, when it comes to raising your local taxes, it's always they're going to cut, it'll be the police and the firefighters. You don't want to cut the police and firefighters. Folks, that is a line of BS. They know it,
Yes,
and
they do.
and a lot of us know that, but the more often that we just, when that line comes out from them, you just say, no, that's not true. Don't tell us that. There are so many areas, any city.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, I don't think there is a city in the state of Texas that's running a budget so tight that if they couldn't raise your taxes, they would just have to fire all the police officers.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
There's not.
It's not that way.
No.
And if you look at what they spend at the
No, look at
Fredericksburg,
what they give away.
what they give away, and
Oh.
what they spend at the liquor store,
Yeah.
and what they spend.
Mhm.
And listen, we're not making this up.
No, we're not making
catering and liquor
and
store.
liquor.
Catering and liquor, we have that documented going back, I believe, about 5 years now, the amount of money that the city of Fredericksburg and the general manager over there, Kent Myers, have spent on alcohol and on catering for lunch meetings.
You know, catering is one of the most expensive ways to purchase meals.
Oh, yeah.
You and I have looked at it a million times.
Oh, yeah.
We looked at it for our last Tea Party meeting.
Right.
We were looking at 2021, and we were kind of considering how do we want to do
Serve a meal.
serve a meal at our meetings, because we know people come from work, it's been a long day, whatever, and they love, chatting over a meal with their friends, right before our meeting. So we looked at catering, didn't we?
Right. Oh, we have for over the years, yeah.
Oh, you know how much that was.
Oh, yeah, it's
It was
crazy. It's crazy high.
So expensive. There was no way to do it.
And yeah, and it just doesn't make sense.
Never,
And
no.
so now when you look at the books, which, by the way, Freedom of Information Act, a couple of young guys, and I mean young guys in their 20s, have been in the city of Fredericksburg, have started chasing down this information. Yes. And you can look at spreadsheets and just real easily see what they spend. And so don't buy that line anymore. Folks, we need to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this break. Well, that's a shame on that audio. I imagine it might be one of this where this was crossing. Is it just got too many chords it's around, Bob?
I mean, that could be it, sure.
I tried it with
But
Gail.
the problem is, if you hear them clearly out there, then it's an internal issue in here.
Right. Oh, so which means that it's not the. It's
That
not
I wouldn't
the
think
chord.
it's that.
What I was hearing. Were you hearing
I
the
was hearing
same thing? It was
I
like
could barely hear 'em.
yeah, barely.
I could barely hear 'em. But it tells me that if they're hearing it, what I would do is when you get home, I'd open up the old clip of this, listen to it, and see how he sounds on
Yes.
that video.
Yep. And then just in the
And then
future,
we'll make that determination.
Yeah.
We either suck it up, where we can't hear him barely, but we can hear him.
But that doesn't mean they're hearing them on what they're hearing on the radio is what we're hearing.
I would assume. Well, I'll tell you what, when I pull up the audio, I'll let you know.
We'll find out.
Here we go. Shit, sorry.
No worries. All right, let's go ahead. Welcome back. You're listening to the Matt Long Show on Hill Country Patriot Radio. My special guest every Monday, Angela Smith, the founder of the Fredericksburg Tea Party. We have a few minutes left, and by the way, thank you again for those tuning in on YouTube. Yeah. We're going to try to figure out the audio. Apparently, our YouTube audience could hear the audio well. We're not sure what the radio audience was hearing. But we're going to we're going to replay all those when we get done here today and try to figure out Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just old. This tech stuff. I used to be able to throw together stereos and all of that when I was in high school, but it was all analog, and I'd build these killer stereo systems for a car or with a friend, but it was just, you had two wires. There wasn't anything in there, and every now and then you had to replace a tube, so anyway. Beyond that, let's now talk about tonight. To now go to be engaged in your city council, and again, we're talking specifically about Fredericksburg, but this works in everybody's city. Right now in Fredericksburg, their meetings are held on Zoom. Now, if you want to testify tonight, you get 3 minutes to
That's
testify.
correct.
You have to register ahead of time.
Yes.
In fact, you have to be registered by
3 p.m.
By 3 p.m. By 3 p.m.
this afternoon. Yes.
3 this afternoon. Well, to register, you have to send an email into the city of Fredericksburg. They have an email address for you. What you need to do is go to fbgtx.org, fbgtx.org. Look for the agenda, and there will be instructions there, very clear instructions. They give you a specific email address just for citizen
Yes,
comments. So it's a
right.
very specific email address, and I'm not going to give it to you over the air because I will get something wrong and I'll be in trouble. But you can find that on fbgtx.org on the agenda for tonight's city council meeting. You have to have that filled out by 3. You have to give them your name, your address, your phone number, and then they put you on the list. Then at 6 o'clock tonight,
Yes.
at 6 o'clock, then you need to be ready at 6. You need to be logged in, have your Zoom. Log in early and have your Zoom, whether it's on your phone or your laptop or your home thing. But log in, make sure that your name is correct on the screen.
Yes.
The issue with calling in with a phone is very often only your phone number is up there and they can't tell that you're there.
Okay.
And so that has been an issue in the past. Whatever you do, do your best to get your name and not your phone number up. And so when they say, hey, Joe Murphy, it's his turn, they are looking at the same screen you are, and they're looking for Joe Murphy. They're not looking for 833 whatever, call me.
Right.
It is they're looking for that name. And so you need to be ready, and then when they call on you, you need to be ready just to click on and get started, and you have 3 minutes. Angela, tell us about that 3 minutes if you want to. Do we have to use all of it?
You do not have to use all of your 3 minutes. In fact, tonight we are encouraging anyone to just get onto that Zoom call and make a statement. We'd like to see 30 to 50, even up to 100 people get that Zoom out there. Because listen, what Matt just talked about is the hoops that people are having to jump through just to speak to your city council. This is unacceptable behavior at this point in time. We are a year out from the beginning of COVID, and they are still acting like it's the day after.
Yeah,
And
15 days to flatten the curve. It's now
exactly.
1 year anniversary.
Yes, exactly. So there's no reason why you and I should be having this conversation other than to say people just show up at a venue, right? There's really no reason. But they have managed to keep us out, especially since 200 people showed up in December, and all of a sudden it was unsafe.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why we're here having this discussion. But you've got 3 minutes. You don't have to speak for 3 minutes. You don't have to come up with a long speech of any kind. Just speak into the fact that we are no longer in an emergency. No city in the state of Texas is still under an emergency.
Under a COVID emergency.
We should not be there. If anything, the emergency has been in the last week where people still don't have a place to sleep with running water and electricity. That's the emergency they should be considering. But we're no longer in a COVID emergency. So just speak into that. Speak into the fact that the mask mandates are going to expire on February the 28th. And we need to get out from under mask mandates. If you want to wear a mask, that is your personal responsibility. And we have got to quit weaving into our culture that the city can tell you how to take care of your personal health. This is between you and your doctor. If your doctor sends you out telling you you need to wear a mask, you can take that as
that's your doctor.
That's your doctor, and y'all have discussed that. It is not the city's business how you manage your health issues.
Yeah, it's just not. And so get on, if they would, the first time they tried Zoom, they got an accidentally wrong email address to sign up. The second time they went to a Zoom meeting, something else went wrong. Folks, just it would be awesome to have 30 or 40 or 50. And if Angela texts you, or I call you, or Angela calls you today, please, it's your personal invite. It won't take that long. Get up there. We are not doing the citizens meetup. We're not doing the citizens meetup.
Well, we're not doing it at Crossroads. We will not be there, but we are doing it in our own homes.
Yes.
So I have invited I've invited a lot of people to the house.
Okay.
So we are meeting up. If you are going to be Zooming, call your friends, have them come over, and y'all do it together.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we have to have it at a restaurant. We felt like Crossroads is getting ready for spring break, and we want to go into March ready to do whatever we need to do. But we believe that the city is going to come up with a venue for in-person.
We're hoping they should.
We are going to hold them to this. This is ridiculous.
Yes, it is. And it is absolutely, and another one of the, by the way, we've put clips up of some of the more creative things that your city, Fredericksburg City Council people have said, and those are up on our YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to see,
please go to our YouTube channel and watch these clips. I don't think the longest one's like maybe 5 minutes. I think that's the longest. All of them are short.
Mm-hmm.
You will be shocked at what you will see. It's embarrassing.
It is. It's very embarrassing. And so YouTube, our YouTube channel is Fredericksburg Tea Party TX. And you have to go all the way to the end. You have to put the TX all the way, Fredericksburg Tea Party TX, and it will finally show up, and you'll see some videos there. Not only recent stuff, but going back 9 years.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. Stay thawed out. I hope your water and your power is back on, and we will see you on Monday or Tuesday.